Now, for more on this, we bring in the president of the National Border Patrol Council, Brandon Judd. Brandon, as we begin our conversation, I just want to share some stats. These are border encounters, and Bill alluded to it. And when you're talking about numbers like this, it is just stunning. We're talking a 700% increase in Cuban migrants, more than 275% increase in Venezuelan migrants in the Rio Grande Valley sector, a 245% increase in Nicaraguan migrants, and the numbers just keep going on. I mean, El Paso sector, Yuma sector, in particular the Yuma sector. Look at the number of Colombian migrants coming in. You heard Bill, Brandon, allude to hundreds of thousands coming across our border in just the last few months. I guess the short question is, what gives?
Well, this is all cartel-driven. When you look at what the cartels are able to do, they're able to go throughout the world, and they're able to advertise their services based upon our policies here in the United States. If people know that they're going to be released, if they're going to be rewarded after violating our laws, they're going to continue to come, and they're going to give cartels thousands of dollars for them to facilitate travel. When you talk about Mexico not taking these people back because of under Title 42, when you're talking about the countries not taking them back, these people are in Mexico illegally as well. When they cross the border between Guatemala and Mexico, they committed an illegal act in Mexico, but Mexico is not charging any of them. They're not being true border security partners right now, and that's simply because of the amount of money that these cartels are generating, and that money goes back into Mexico and it goes into their economy. So when you look at this is all cartel-driven. It's a problem based upon our policies, and the cartels are exploiting those policies.
It is a crushing disaster because real people, children, are being abused in this circumstance. Human trafficking is unbelievably bad right now. Let me share the number of fentanyl busts. I mean, this is beyond devastating, not just for border communities, but I think, Brandon, it's also fair to say when we talk about fentanyl busts, we're talking about enough fentanyl to kill hundreds of thousands of people. It's in cars. It's being brought over the border by backpack and every other manner of transportation. And it doesn't seem like, despite the talk, that the administration has figured out a way to stop this from happening or even curtail it. Based on the numbers I just showed you, do you think they really are working to get this thing under control?
I know they're not. I've had multiple conversations with high-level officials in this current White House, and they're not doing anything. They know what they can do. They know what policies they need to implement. They know the programs. But when we put on a uniform, I was out patrolling the border just the other night on a midnight shift, and what happens is the cartels know that all they have to do is flood our resources, take us out of the field. And when they take us out of the field, that's when they cross our higher-value products, such as the fentanyl. And that's coming into the United States. It should not surprise anybody that the amount of drugs that are on our streets today corresponds with the number of illegal immigrants that are crossing. When they cause an explosion in illegal immigration, that then allows them to get their drugs across, and then it harms U.S. citizens. It kills so many of our citizens and our children, and that's the problem. We have to ask, why isn't the White House doing something to protect United States citizens?
People are angry. They are more than fed up. This is something that has, I think, really driven a lot of passion, in particular politically. Let me share a statement from the White House. This is actually a soundbite. Karine Jean-Pierre talking about this idea of we're doing the best we can with the migrants, and there have been limitations that were enacted under the Trump administration, they argue, that now they're having to fix. Listen to Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary.
The Migrant Protection Protocol, MPP policy under the prior administration was flawed, it was inhumane, and it was ineffective. Now that the lower court's order requiring us to continue the policy has been lifted.
So we got about 30 seconds left. Your reaction to what she said there, is that true or is that more sleight of hand?
It's a lie. That's political rhetoric. She does not give any evidence whatsoever. Let me give you actual evidence. We dropped to 45-year lows in illegal immigration under the Migrant Protection Protocols. It was an extremely effective program. The State Department, this White House State Department, has certified Mexico as a safe third country. So to say that it's inhumane, again, that's another lie. They know that President Trump solved this problem. They got rid of it because they have too many activists in the White House and they have too many activists in DHS.
Brandon Judd, as always, we appreciate your time today. A lot of passion on this subject, and I think what really stands out is the fact that the American people have every right to demand that their border be protected, and that they do so humanely, but obviously there are ways to bring people into this country lawfully. Brandon, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.